Welcome back, guys. I'm here today, the Wizard, to talk to you about an amazing, incredible faction, the poster boys of 10th, the Tyranids. I love this faction. They're probably the faction I played most in 9th edition, so I'm really excited to see how they've changed in 10th. I'm really excited to play them, but for now, it's time to look at everything that they have to offer, so we'll start right there with the army rule for Tyranids. So guys, Tyranids are kind of special in that they have 2 army rules instead of 1. They're greedy, they're swarming masses, they want to have more than everybody else. So the first one they have is Synapse, which is quite simple. Basically, whenever a Synapse unit is within 6 inches of another unit, that unit, or the Synapse unit itself, when it's within its own aura, can roll 3d6 for battle shock tests instead of 2d6, which is really good because Tyranid leadership isn't the best. So it obviously allows them to keep their morale up, allow them to actually not fail those battle shock tests as often, which is great for objective control. The second thing that they have is Shadow in the Warp. And this is a once per game ability they have. So in either player's command phase, so at any point in the battle, you can unleash the Shadow in the Warp. So when you do this, every single unit in your opponent's army has to take a battle shock test, which is really awesome because it means that at a key turn, maybe halfway through the game or close to the end, your opponent will have to take battle shock tests on every single one of their units. And this happens in the command phase, which obviously is before you score points, so it can be really big to help swing the mission. So next we'll be talking about the detachment rule coming with the Tyranid index. Alright, so the first detachment for Tyranids, and the only one we're going to be getting at the start, is the Invasion Fleet. So this is a pretty cool one. So at the start of the game, once you've seen what your opponent is, you get to choose one of 3 abilities for your entire army to get. The first one gives you Sustain Hits 1 against any infantry or swarm. The second one gives you Lethal Hits against monsters or vehicles. And the third one gives you Precision on attacks that score critical hits. So this is really cool because it allows your army to literally adapt to your opponent. It's really thematic and also really strong. If you know you're going up against, say, a vehicle-heavy army or a knight's army, you could just, boom, lethal hits for your entire army. Or if you're going against an infantry-heavy one, you can go for the other one. So it's really awesome, and it keeps that theme of Tyranids being really adaptive, which is happening currently in the lore. Okay, so my favorite enhancement for Tyranids is Alien Cunning. This gives Tyranids a redeploy for 3 units before the game. This is amazing. For ages, I've wanted the redeploy for Tyranids, and they finally have it. It's a very powerful ability. Any armies that have a redeploy, being able to, go put your units quite aggressive, see whether you go first or second, and then actually be able to react with that, and even put the units into strategic reserves is a huge ability. So I can't wait to try that out with the Tyranids. Okay, so my favorite Tyranid unit is actually a controversial one. It's the Maleceptor, okay? This guy has caused terror throughout 9th, and he's back. This guy, he's quite good. So he is toughness 11. He has 14 wounds, and he has a 4-up invulnerable save, which is already really, really good. A lot of weapons are now strength 9, strength 10, even things like las cannons, and he's toughness 11. So that breakpoint is really good. Also, through the stratagems, he can be given a 5-up Feel No Pain because he's a Synapse creature, so he can be really, really hard to kill. He has an incredible shooting attack. It's a d6 plus 3 blast shot that's strength 10 minus 1 flat 3. And flat 3 shot at 18-inch range at a psychic weapon is really, really good. So he can shoot really well as well. And in combat, he's not any slouch either. He has a sweep profile and an actual attack profile. And the sweep profile is damage 2 as well. So he can actually kill some Marines in combat. But the reason I really like him is he has a rule, which is every enemy unit within 6 inches of him in an aura is -1 to hit, which is great already. And secondly, if they're below half strength, they're -1 to wound as well. And this counts for units that are like single models when they're below half wounds. And this is really, really powerful. Not only have I just said how he's toughness 11, but a lot of the Tyranid units are T10 at minimum, these big bugs. When you then slap on -1 to wound on that, this guy is causing your enemy army to do nothing to you. And so I just absolutely love him. Okay, so this is a bit of a sad one. I mean, the biggest loser in my opinion is probably the Hive God still. So they're paying for their sins in the past. You can still take 2 weapon options, obviously, the Shot Cannon or the Impaler Cannon. The Impaler Cannon has gone from amazing to bad to whatever it is now. It's 4 shots at damage 1, strength 5 -1. It is a terrible profile for indirect. It hits on 4s, heavy, but it's indirect, so you're always going to be hitting on 4s even if they stay still, because -1/+1. So it's really not good. The Shot Cannon has a bit more play because it has anti-vehicle 2-up, which is quite nice, even though it's only 2 shots each. It is flat 3, which is good, but it's only -1. and 24 inches, so it's not a great weapon. Their rule is quite interesting. Essentially, they get to Overwatch on 5s or 4s if they're on an objective, which is quite interesting. But again, because their guns are not incredible, and the shot cannon, unless it's shooting at a vehicle, it's only strength 7. So if they are overwatching, unless they're overwatching a vehicle, they're not really going to do much. So yeah, I think Hive God have to wait a little bit longer to get better rules. But maybe in the Codex one day they'll be good. But for now, I think that they're lacking a bit. Okay, so yeah, that is the end of this this little teaser, so we say, little showcase of Tyranids, which I love them as an army. I think that they are going to be a very strong army coming out the bat. I think that they have incredible stats for what they are. I think, especially in this edition, anything that has high toughness and a lot of wounds and a good save is going to be very good. And Tyranids have a lot of invuls, a lot of high toughness, which is great. I've actually played a couple of games with them so far, and they've performed really well. So yeah, I'm excited to see what else they do, how people play them. And yeah, put down in the comments, please, what units you think are going to be really good for Tyranids, and what units you hope are going to be good for them to eat as well. So yeah, we'll see you in the next one, and thank you for watching, guys.